Good evening, everyone. My name is Lisa Galley, and I'm an instructional program leader for the Halton District School Board in the School Programs Department. I support guidance, co-op, and student success. And tonight I'm really happy to be here as a host again for another installment of our Pathway Planning virtual series. The series allows us to share topics relevant to student pathway planning as students consider their career and post-secondary options, to ensure that both caregivers and students are aware of those options and the vast array of different opportunities that exist for students, both while they're in the Halton District School Board and certainly beyond. Tonight's focus is on skilled trades and 101. This is such an important and timely topic. And we're really excited to tell you more about not only the current landscape of skilled trades in Ontario and beyond, also the opportunities that are available to Halton District School Board students who might be looking at skilled trade and apprenticeship pathways. And we've got some amazing panelists here tonight to share more about their experiences supporting students in the trades, as well as students themselves, talking a little bit about their journey to the trades. So it's sure to be a very exciting evening. Thanks so much for being a part of it. And we really look forward to getting started with you. As we always do in the Halton District School Board, I'll begin by sharing our land acknowledgement. We begin by acknowledging the land and our responsibility to care for and respect all that provides us with life. This land upon which HDSB is situated is on the ancestral, treaty, and tidal lands of the Anishinaabeg Ojibwe Michizagi Nation, now known as the Mississaugas of the Credit. Michizagi territory in the past and present continues to host both Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. The HDSB is committed to continuous knowledge building with respect to actions that address and resolve the ongoing impacts of colonialism. We do this by learning and understanding the true history, treaty obligations, duties, and responsibilities, and Indigenous rights, while actively maintaining mutually beneficial relationships and collectively respecting and caring for the land. And part of the connection that I wanted to make this evening, which seems so relevant given our theme of skilled trades and technologies tonight, is really the vast array of organizations that are there to help support Indigenous students and families who may be exploring opportunities in the skilled trades. So on your screen, you'll see a variety of organizations, including Skills Ontario, the Indigenous Skilled Trades Alliance, the Indigenous Skills Employment, Apprenticeship and Development Group, Inspire, APSIP. These are all fantastic organizations that provide opportunities, information about employment, resources, scholarships, bursaries, and more to help support students who are Indigenous as they embark on that journey to the trades. Wanted to bring your awareness to these organizations, certainly in consultation with the Indigenous Rights and Education team. Our Pathways team at the board does a lot of work to ensure that these opportunities are known and getting to our students. So thank you for giving me a moment to be able to share them with you. Our virtual session agenda tonight really allows us to take a little bit of a journey through what the next hour will look like. We'll start with some live stream need to knows. We'll talk about an overview of student pathway planning in the Halton District School Board. And then I'll pass you over to my colleague, Jeff Hines, who will talk about a closer look at skilled trades and technologies in our board and beyond. Then we're very excited to welcome our HDSB student, graduate, and partner panel. We'll talk about some supporting resources and then certainly get to our viewer questions. So as a reminder, please use the link that you see on your screen, bit.ly/HDSB trades and tech, as well as, or using the QR code that's available to get to our question form. We've already had a number of questions submitted beforehand. Thank you so much to those that did. And as you're listening tonight and questions arise, please feel free to take a moment to pop a question into the form. I'll be able to receive it, and then I'll be able to pitch it over to our panel when we get to our question period. After the live stream, a recording will be posted on the Transition to Post-Secondary page on hdsb.ca. And please know that when viewing the recording, viewers can select a preferred language using the closed captioning feature. So education and career life planning, it's a big topic, and it's certainly one that we take quite seriously in the Halton District School Board. We certainly want every student, through the experiences they have, the courses they take, the extracurriculars that they pursue, the volunteer opportunities that they try, and other important life events, to start to form an understanding of who they are and what they want for their future. And specifically, students answer the 4 questions of education and career life planning that you see on the screen. Who am I? What are my opportunities? Who do I want to become? And what is my plan for achieving my goals? Every school in the HDSB provides targeted opportunities for students to be able to answer these questions and begin to plan for their first post-secondary destination. And we'll have a chance to hear some students talk about that tonight. So what are the post-secondary pathways? Well, these are options that students may select as they consider their first destination after high school graduation. And in the Halton District School Board, this includes 5 key pathway options: apprenticeship, college, community, university, and the workplace. There is no one pathway that is better than any other. And we also recognize that many students will pursue multiple post-secondary pathways over the course of their career journey. All the pathways are equally valued and lead to a variety of exciting and rewarding career options. To lead us into our topic tonight, I want to share a report that you may or may not have heard of before, the State of Post-Secondary Education in Canada. And this is a report specifically that's put together by Higher Education Strategy Associates, or HESA, and it provides strategic insight and guidance to governments, post-secondary institutions, and agencies through a number of things, including extensive data collection. This is a really interesting report. It's a big report, and it gives us a lot of insight into post-secondary realities for our students. I just wanted to highlight a couple of graphs from that report, again, as sort of a precursor and segue into our topic tonight. We can see in this report monitoring of apprenticeship enrollments in Canada from 1995 to 2023. And that uptick that we see in the last few years, I think really is reflective of a lot of work that's being done, certainly provincially in Ontario, but as we can see nationally, to ensure that the word is out about the demand for skilled trades, as well as the wide variety of opportunities that exist within them. We see this certainly in our board with increased enthusiasm from students in exploring skilled trade opportunities, and certainly we see it as well through apprenticeship enrollments, as indicated in the graph. This is another one that I thought might be of interest. The top 10 major trade groups in Canada from 2013 to 2023 over a 10-year period. Again, we know, and you're going to hear all about many different skilled trade options that exist for students, but interesting to see those areas that have emerged and changed over time as being some of the most major or popular in terms of number of skilled tradespeople within those professions. With that, it's my pleasure to pass it over now to my colleague, Jeff Hines. I'll let Jeff introduce himself. He's going to be talking a little bit more about the skilled trades landscape, as well as those vast opportunities available to students in our board. So Jeff, I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Lisa. My name is Jeff Hines. I'm the instructional program lead for technological studies at the Halton District School Board. And it's my pleasure tonight to kind of walk you through a few things that the Halton District School Board is doing in relation to the skilled trades and technology. If we could advance that slide, Lisa. I think we're on to one more, please. There we go. Well, the Ministry of Education, underneath the technological studies area, has 10 broad-based technology or BBT areas that we kind of focus our skilled trades and technological studies under. And it is encompasses basically both soft tech and hard tech. And basically what we mean by that, soft tech would be things that we kind of do in more computer-based labs, such as communication technology, which would be more a media-based program, or computer technology that looks at coding, IT, computer work, technological design, which is again more office-based engineering type work. And then we have a variety of others, which would be service-based, that would be hair and aesthetics, healthcare, hospitality, and tourism, as well as hard tech, which would be green industries, manufacturing technology, construction technology, transportation technology. But under there, that's really where all our connections to the skilled trades and technologies live. Advance, thank you. Along with the offerings that we have within those 10 BBT areas, there are a number of schools that have additional programs that are available to students. And these programs either happen in conjunction with the BBT programs, or they're opportunities for your son or daughter to basically connect and start building rich experiences or padding their resumes for entry into skilled trades technology careers. So some of these I'd like to highlight. We do have a tiny home program, which is in partnership with the Habitat for Humanity. And this program is an incredible opportunity for our construction technology students. We do have 3 schools currently that are building these units, but basically Habitat for Humanity works with an architect. Every year they come out with a new set of blueprints, and they raise some corporate, donations as well as support for materials and whatnot. We basically bring these materials into the classroom, and the students literally get to build a tiny home from the first stick or the first piece of wood right up into the entire completion of that building envelope. That includes plumbing, electrical, windows, finishes. The complete build is done. And it's an amazing process. It's all permitted. There's inspectors that come out as well, other trades folks that come in and lend their expertise, but it's an amazing, complete home building opportunity. And at the end, those houses are actually donated to northern communities. Along with that, we have the University of Waterloo EV Challenge, where students join a team and they work on producing an electric car. The electric car, yes, it is a bit of a race, but it's actually a durability race. So there's a lot of engineering that goes into that. And again, a lot of these teams that you'll see, you need a vast amount of expertise. So there might be some programming, some electrical, some manufacturing, transportation knowledge, right? But within that, these students will show up at the University of Waterloo and they race in that durability challenge, seeing if they can get their car to last the longest and go the furthest distance. We also have what's coming up as our Halton Skills event. I know the Olympics just ended, but we kind of have a form of our own in the technological and skilled trades area. That's taking place at the Nelson High School this year on March the 31st. And basically we have about 40 events that run, all connected to skilled trades and technologies. And from there, the winners go on from our internal tournament to a provincial round. From the provincial round, if they win that, they go to nationals. Last year, just to give evidence of just how well prepared some of our students are within our programs, we had 6 students win at provincials and go on to the nationals in Regina, Saskatchewan, and all 6 of our students medaled. So that's a huge testament to how well prepared they are. On top of this, we also have FIRST robotics programs. And if you've not looked into that program at all, it is something to be seen, right? We have every year a challenge that's put out from FIRST Robotics Canada. From there, students get into small teams. They look at solving for that year's challenge. There is coding, manufacturing, assembly, also like steering for these robots. It's a whole problem-solving commitment that is action-packed. It's a tournament format. And again, we have a number of those teams that have gone on to world championships and such. And then we have more traditional courses that are attached to some of our in-class options, things like dual credit. And a dual credit is an awesome opportunity for students to earn college-based credits well in high school and earn high school credits along with that. So it's an opportunity to kind of get a taste of what that college experience might be like, while also earning credits towards their high school diploma. We have specialist high skills majors program. And what that is, the best way to describe it really is like declaring a major in your high school experience, right? So all of your credits kind of focus towards getting you through to a certain discipline or pathway in a certain area. And we work hard to ensure that you have lots of experiential learning opportunities. We might bring in guest experts to do special, skill development with you. We'll get you things like working at heights or platform training. But all in all, it's really helping you focus your studies at the high school level and gaining excellent reach ahead opportunities that kind of highlight your skills and your dedication and commitment to that area of study. And then, of course, we have the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program that is a co-op based program. But should you serve your co-op in a skilled trades area, we can basically start your apprenticeship at that point. So we have just a bit of paperwork to fill out, but depending on the trade that you sign into, you can either begin to count your hours or your skills towards that apprenticeship. And what's important about that as well is that you're really getting an opportunity through the co-op experience to connect with employers and really highlight the fact that you're interested in that area and that you're looking to pursue a career moving forward. Now, these things can happen on their own or, in combination. So it wouldn't be uncommon to have an SHSM student who's earning a dual credit while serving an OYAP, competing in Halton skills, and if they're in a construction course, maybe building a tiny home or competing in some of the other extracurricular opportunities like the EV Challenge or FIRST Robotics. Now, that's quite a bit to bite off, but certainly there's an opportunity there to really tap into a lot of technological opportunities during their high school experience. We'll advance. Okay. To understand, I guess, best, I recognize the font on this is pretty minuscule, so we'll go through this rather quickly. But we have 4 sectors that our skilled trades fall into. There is motive power, which is basically our transportation area. Service-based, which is like our hairstyling, our chef, food, hospitality. We have construction, plumbing, electrical, framing, and industrial, which would be tool and die, manufacturing, welding. But those are the 4 different areas that we have. And maybe we'll just skip ahead just so we can move on to the next slide, Lisa. Thank you. Now, within there, we have both compulsory and voluntary trades. A voluntary trade would be an area that is recognized as a skilled trade, but you can choose to work just as a employee and not have to go through the apprenticeship process, right? So that's a bit of a unique thing to try to understand, that you can work in skilled trades areas that do have, an apprenticeable trade attached to it, but you might not necessarily know to seek that apprenticeship, or it might be difficult to find an employer that's willing to sign you for that. And we'll discuss that in a couple slides here. The compulsory trades, there are 23 compulsory trades in Ontario, and basically what they are attached to are areas that involve safety and the public. So we want to make sure that our mechanics, that our steam fitters, our hairstylists, anybody that has some commitment to the safety of society, that they're involved in an apprenticeship where they're being trained, they're going through levels, and at the end of their training, they're offered a certificate of qualification in their field. And certainly within these 23 trades, you either have to be one of these 4 things. You need to be a fully licensed tradesperson that holds a C of Q in that area, or you have a provisional certificate of qualification, and that simply means that you've completed your apprenticeship, but you're preparing to write your final exam to earn your full certificate of qualification. Other than that, you must be a registered apprentice with a registered training agreement, and the only other condition would be that you're a high school OYAP student. Those are the only ways that you can work in those compulsory trade fields, right? And we'll go on to the next slide, Lisa. Okay, now we can kind of get into some statistics, and certainly there's a lot of attention being put into skilled trades at this time. Our provincial government wants to ensure that our economy runs smoothly and that we have workers that are trained to work in these key sector areas. But regardless of where you look, the numbers might change, a few percent here or there, but it tells the same story. So we've pulled out a few pieces of data here just so we can kind of understand some key takeaways and the realities of the skilled trades. So the average age of a skilled trades person in Ontario right now is 58 years of age. Now, if the average age is 58 and these folks that work in these skilled trade fields typically earn pretty decent wages, they're either looking to transition into semi-retirement or full retirement likely at this point. So that bodes well for our young workers. Now, two other statistics here that are worth noting. The average age of a first-year apprentice is 28 years old. As well, approximately 40% of apprentices have a college diploma or a university degree. Now, those two statistics kind of speak to the competition that's out there, right? If we're leaving high school at 18 years of age, we're competing with 28-year-olds that have college diplomas or potentially university degrees. So it's very important to kind of tap into some of these programs that we offer at the high school level to not only prepare ourselves for that journey into a skilled trade, but also to ensure that we're building our resume and our skill set to kind of migrate into that field of study. Next slide, please. Yeah, and again, some of these other pieces, Dr. John Gallagher, I think, does a lot of work with parents, and certainly if you looked into some of the results that he has, the interest that parents have had in their sons or daughters moving into skilled trades work has just like gone up a cliff. I think it's gone up 10% in the last 4 years as far as interest in their sons or daughters pursuing a skilled trades. I think it's up to about 78%, right? But very high, around 80%. And some of the main reasons would be they feel that those jobs would not be outsourced by AI, that there's a potential for increased wage earning, that the career prospects moving forward are strong, and that the skills they learn on their job will kind of with a lot of opportunities moving forward. Next slide, Lisa. Now, looking at the different pathways into the skilled trades, right? This is a tricky thing to navigate. And we saw in that other statistic, 40% have a college diploma or university degree. So some folks are finding different pathways and different ways into the skilled trade, and there could be a variety of reasons. But these are kind of the things that we can do to prepare. So certainly during our time in high school, we look to take as many trades and technological courses. We're preparing through either work placements or co-op just to get that job experience, get that resume. So when we do graduate with our high school diploma, that we're looking to work with employers and get hired into a skilled trade area. The second one would be the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program. Again, that's an opportunity starting in grade 11, the age of 16, where you can start really connecting with employers, particularly in those skilled trades that are mandatory that you have on Ontario Youth Apprenticeship, the compulsory trades. Very important that you have that. That's a huge bonus opportunity for a young person to navigate into that. And if we're going from employment right into the skilled trades, make sure that we're taking in different options, exploring dual credit opportunities, reach ahead opportunities through co-op, right? And then the last two options here we'll just highlight because they can be confusing as well. There are a number of pre-apprenticeship programs that exist beyond high school, as well as number of college diplomas that are trades related. Now, if we look at pre-apprenticeship, what's exactly in the name there is pre-apprenticeship. It is taking place before your apprenticeship. So even if you take a pre-apprenticeship course, it doesn't really give you any advantage as far as completing your apprenticeship, okay? The same could be true for some of the trades-related college diplomas. However, within that, you are gaining some knowledge, some maturity. It puts you in a better position if it's a competitive job market, but there's no advantage as far as completing a skilled trade sooner or not. Ideally, the best case, if you want to kind of fast track that career, would be working through a SHISM program, building your resume, signing an OEAP, working with an employer, and kind of massaging that so as you graduate high school, you've got that employer, you've got that opportunity to kind of move on into the workforce. Next slide, please. And this is basically it, right? The last two slides kind of just highlight how an apprenticeship works, right? You can either do this through OYAP, which again is a co-op in high school, or if you've graduated high school and you're starting your skilled trades career, right? 80% of what you're doing to complete that level of education and explore apprenticeship is on the job training. So you're going to work, you're working with the employer, working with your colleagues, you're working on that skilled trade. And then if we go next slide, Lisa, the remaining 20% or 8 weeks, that's where the ministry will contact you and get you into a college to complete your level 1 training. Okay. And then it's just basically rinse, repeat. If you're done your level 1, you go back to your employer, you complete that 80% hands-on training, then that 20% or 8 weeks, you go in for your level 2. And depending on your trade, some have, 2 levels, 3 levels, 4 levels, but that's what's going through to get you done your level training. Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Jeff, for that synopsis and overview of skilled trades and technologies and the many pathways to get there. We're really excited now to move into our student, grad, and partner panel, and I'll ask that our panelists get ready for this portion of the virtual session. I'm really pleased to welcome a number of students tonight. You will see that their names are there on the screen. Ray Bruno, a Milton District High School grad, Maddox McCormick, an MM Robinson grad, and Rebecca Walsh, who is a Craig Kielburger / Milton District High School student. So really excited to have them all here with us tonight. As well, we have a number of HDSB partners who are supporting students in navigating pathways to the skilled trades in unique and diverse ways. And we're excited to hear more about what that looks like. And that includes Michael Foster from Master Mechanic Milton, Rebecca Aisawa from Sheridan College, and Def Vaishan from Sheridan College, as well as Patrick McManus from the OSWCA. So I'm going to ask each of our panelists to just introduce themselves when they speak for the first time so that you have an opportunity to hear from them directly. And we're going to start with our first question, and this one's going to go to our students. So the first question is, please provide a brief overview of your skilled trades journey to date and why you were interested in exploring a skilled trades pathway. And Maddox, if we can start with you, that would be great.
Hi, I'm Maddox, and my journey to date is when I was young, my dad used to be a mechanic, so he always had tools around and we were always fixing stuff because he never liked to get anything fixed by anybody else. And my brother was a welder becoming a welder at the time, so I was also kind of following in the footsteps of him, so I was always surrounded by skilled tradespeople. So when I was in high school, I kind of knew a direction where I wanted to go, and I kind of followed that to all the manufacturing classes, the SHISM, robotics, and everything. And now I'm in college for the Millwright pre-apprenticeship program.
Amazing. That's great. Thank you so much, Maddox. And we'll pass it now over to Ray.
There we go. Hi, I'm Ray. I am a grad from Milton District High School and am currently just finishing my first year of college at Humber, the North Campus. I'm similar to Maddox. I've been doing this my whole life. I'm working towards being a pâtissière, which is just a pastry chef. And I have been doing it my whole life. My mom would constantly just do home baking in the kitchen and stuff, and my earliest memory is I helped her with my 3rd birthday cake. So it's been just baking ever since I was young, and that's always what I've been wanting to do. I was never an OYAP student or had an apprenticeship, but I did do co-op for both grade 11 and 12. One of the best things you can ever do, because it gives you the experience of being in the workforce without all that major pressure, but you still get, with being a baker, the early hours, the on your feet all the time, the memorizing recipes and pricing and all the skills. And though a lot of the skills that I learned in my co-ops I have been using them now in college, and Like even then, I will be learning new things here, but that I also have done before, and I'll be like, I did it differently, and I preferred the way that I did it in my co-op. But it's good to learn new things, so you can you just carry a lot of everything. I'm rambling. Yeah, carry a lot of things. I'm trying to read the question again.
No problem.
Yeah, so like a lot of starting young is a great way to do it because you get all of those transferable skills that you carry throughout where your career takes you.
Absolutely. That's so great. Thank you so much, Ray. And finally, Rebecca, over to you for this last student question, the first student question.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Sorry. So I'm Rebecca. I'm currently a grade 12 student at Craig Hilberger in Milton, and my journey of the skilled trades to date kind of started like when I was young. I was always surrounded by vehicles from my dad and from my uncle, and kind of seeing them be hands-on and use kind of like those critical thinking skills. And I always thought it was so cool seeing something kind of being built and then taken apart and then noticing kind of like that satisfying feeling afterwards. So when I started high school, grade 10 rolled around, and at school we offer both auto mechanics and auto body courses. So I enrolled myself in the auto mechanics course and immediately fell in love with the atmosphere. I loved getting my hands dirty and truly kind of seeing how everything functioned, learning their purpose, how to fix it, how do we go above and beyond kind of the situation that we're that we're in. And also, I'm a very kind of collaborative person, right? That environment and any sort of the skilled trades, collaborating and communicating is definitely one of those skills that is very, very important. So after grade 10, I continued to take auto mechanics through 11 and 12. And in grade 11, I was like, you know what? What's an opportunity that I can take to further, kind of explore my interests and my hobby? And so I sat down with some of the co-op teachers at CK, and I was like, you know what? Let's join the transportation technology schism. Why not? And so I did. And for that, I've gotten so many great opportunities like this one. I got the chance to do my co-op over the summer at a local dealership here, which was fantastic. And now I'm actually being hired at the dealership next door, which is super fantastic. So yeah, those opportunities are great. And so I continue to take those courses through 11 and 12. And now I'm currently enrolled in one of the auto body courses and I'm loving it. So yeah, that's my journey.
Amazing. Thank you so much to all three students. So eloquently said, and love that you're all exploring diverse trade areas. So thank you. So now our first question for our partners, we're going to ask if you can provide a brief overview of the very important work that you do in supporting skilled trades and apprenticeship pathways for students. And we'll start with Rebecca and Dev from Sheridan.
Thank you, Lisa. Rebecca, do you mind if I go first? I guess I will.
Definitely, right ahead. Yes, please.
Perfect, thank you. Before I get started, I just want to say, wow, that was great. It's a tough act to follow those students and their pathways. That's outstanding. And I just want to tip my cap, if I was wearing one, over to Lisa and Jeff. Like the information shared this evening is just outstanding. I'll just reflect quickly a little bit about my pathway. Just because, again, it's a tip over to, what the students are being able to experience currently at the high school level is just astounding, and why us at Sheridan are continuing to partner and come out and provide, our support. Back in my journey, so I'll start off by saying I'm a Red Seal certified tool and die maker. And around 20 plus years when I was a high school student, it was at the time when a lot of the trade shops were being removed and being replaced by computers, so computer labs. So we didn't have as much opportunity that these students currently today have, and the different opportunities within there. So please, Jeff shared a great deal of information. And again, just wanted to echo the opportunities there at the high school level. A lot of what was shared, I had to, as a tradesperson, figure out on your own. So what do we do at Sheridan? What do I specifically do? Well, I'm the Associate Dean at Sheridan for the Magna School of Skilled Trades, where we run our apprenticeship and post-secondary programs, primarily in the industrial and construction sector. As Jeff mentioned, there's a bunch of trades out there, over 100, around 144 across the 4 sectors. At Sheridan, we run skilled trades and apprenticeship at Sheridan. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, primarily in industrial. So if you think about the manufacturing trades, with my trade as tool and die maker, machinist, the millwrights, the welding, we have all of those programs and trades offered at Sheridan. On the construction side, we also have programs in electrical and plumbing. And again, it's on both sides with post-secondary and apprenticeship. But just a little bit about me and what I said, a little bit about my journey. I'm here, as an associate dean, but like I said earlier, I started out just like these students, getting right out of high school, getting into an apprenticeship. But back in my time, there was no SHISM, there was no OEAP, there's no dual credit. We had co-op, and that's what we did. So I did my co-op and then had to get into an apprenticeship. Just want, be heard. And then I know we're going to touch a little bit on some other questions here, which are great. But I'll just say that, no matter, and Lisa, you talked about it at the onset of this meeting, it doesn't matter about which stream you take after high school. But I'll be biased to say I think apprenticeship stream is the best stream. So I'm just sitting here saying that I have education in apprenticeship in college, university. I do have my MBA now with me. But like I said, the apprenticeship pathway is just a great way to learn and practice whilst you're learning every day. So I'll leave it there, and I'll turn it over to my great colleague here, Rebecca, and she can talk a little bit more about the important work she does here for us at Sheridan.
Thank you so much, Dev. Appreciate that. And hello, everybody. It's great to be here. Thank you so much, Lisa and Jeff. I will echo Dev's comment regarding how well it was presented, Jeff and Lisa, about the pathways. That is one of the things that the biggest questions that we get from students, from parents, as well as mid-career learners. How the heck do I find my way into these really interesting careers? So we do spend a lot of time doing that. I'm just going to recap a bit of what Dev said. So, or actually, where will you encounter, let's say, a college like Sheridan in your pathway? You could encounter Sheridan as an OEAP student. We offer OEAP training for electrical and plumbing. You could encounter Sheridan as a dual credit student, actually doing your courses on our campus. There's also, as Dev mentioned, there are post-secondary programs that can lead you to careers in industrial as well as construction. To kind of just sort of tease that out a little bit, again, trying to make it simple for people to understand the pathways. And while there are very many, we've kind of distilled it down to 2. So there's apprenticeship and go to college first. Thank you, Lisa. So apprenticeship. If you know your trade, if you are ready to work full-time, and key, if you have an employer who has agreed to sponsor you, particularly with compulsory trades, then as Dev mentioned, go the apprenticeship pathway. Absolutely. Right out of high school if you can. However, it's getting tougher and tougher to find employers to sponsor you. As Jeff also mentioned, it is competitive. Yeah.
Sorry, Rebecca, you might need to unmute again. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what's happened there. Technical issues.
It's part of our life, right? I'll keep an eye on my mute button. Again,
Okay.
Long story short, apprenticeship. If you have the opportunity to go right to work, you're ready to work full time, you know your trade, and you have an employer who has agreed to sponsor you right out of high school, go for it. If, however, one of those things is not true, go to college first. It makes so much more sense. And we are seeing employers actually starting to be very, they're delaying the hiring of folks, following and making their hiring decisions based on people completing college education and skilled trades. I'll just give one brief example. Toyota Motor Manufacturing Company, so Toyota, came to Sheridan about a month ago. They have 9 apprenticeship opportunities available, 5 in electrical, 2 in millwright, one in precision machining, and the final one in facilities. Their choice is they were only looking at graduates of 2-year programs from college in order to actually award these really incredible apprenticeships. So that is, again, as Dev mentioned, we've got those college programs, 1 and 2-year options. In addition, we've got a brand new 2-year industrial mechanic millwright. So for everybody out there, think about the trades you might not have thought of too. Millwright is one we highly recommend. Also a brand new program for people that might not know their trade. So it's called Construction Techniques. It actually covers 4 trades in a 1-year certificate. And we can go over all of this information in more detail later at the Q&A. But to wrap up, what do we do to help students and their parents and apprenticeships find their way? There's a few things. Number 1, a new campaign that we've got called See Yourself in Skilled Trades. For the months of February and March, we're also offering Discover Trades Tuesdays. It's a drop-in at our Skilled Trades campus in Brampton from 5 to 7 p.m. You don't need to register, just pop in. We're having some really good one-on-one conversations with students, their parents, doing tours, and giving opportunities for people to really understand what is this pathway. Another thing that we're doing, actually, Halton Hills Public Library on Thursday, March 12th, we're doing the same thing, a trades drop-in from 5 to 7. You can attend open houses, summer camps. There's a whole pile of different things that you can do. And these are areas in the way that Sheridan really wants to engage with the community to help understand how they can get to those clear opportunities that students have these days. By the way, I'm not like Dev. I'm not a registered tradesperson. I'm what's called a wannabe. I took the pathway years ago of right to university and not regretting the journey. It's been wonderful. However, had there been opportunities like you're doing with kids these days, it really has an opportunity to say there's more than university and college. Skilled trades is key.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Dev and Rebecca. We really appreciate that. I'm going to pass this question now over to Patrick.
Hi. So this has all been quite great. I work for the Ontario Sewer and Water Main Construction Association. And what our organization is it's a large organization, a large collection of contractors from all over the province. We have 850 companies that are members of our organization. And these are the companies that build your municipal core infrastructure projects. So your water mains, your sewers, your bridges, your roads, your building foundations, your transit lines, your tunnels. Anytime your commute in and out of work is being blocked by heavy equipment in the middle of the road, that is the contractors that I work for. We do everything from small projects on residential land, transforming farm fields into new subdivisions, to building, mega projects on the Ontario line, the Highway 407, all of these major infrastructure thoroughfares and things that are sort of community builders across our province. So anybody here that wakes up in the morning and showers and flushes the toilet and has a cup of coffee and drives to work or rides the bus to work, that is thanks to an infrastructure contractor. And what is great about these trades, and this is just touching back on something that Jeff mentioned a little bit earlier, is these are voluntary trades. So we employ construction laborers and equipment operators, and most of the positions that we offer are in the voluntary trades, which means you do not require an apprenticeship in order to come and work in these trades. Instead of your classic apprenticeship where you're with a company and you're back and forth between school and you're at a graduated pay scale all the way up for 4 or 5 years, in the voluntary trades, apprenticeships need to be understood as trainee periods. They don't come with a required number of hours of service. You just graduate into full rate based on merit. And everybody in our sector graduates to full rate one way or the other within the first year of starting. And right now, full rate anywhere from Hamilton to Bowmanville to Barrie is $49 per hour in wage, and then you're in addition to with your pension and your benefits topped up there. So for the average worker coming into our sector, that means you're within the first year you're making around anywhere between $80,000 and $90,000 a year. This all happens before you're 20 years old. You know, workers that start in this sector at the age of 18 right out of high school are eligible to collect their pensions before they turn 50. And so these are lesser known trades, but they are trades that are very valuable, tickets to the middle class, have excellent opportunities for everyone. And in order to promote this, what we did is started something called OntarioWaterCareers.com. It's a centralized hiring platform for the infrastructure trades. It provides information about how you get in. There's a job board there that has all of the available opportunities across the province. And the intent is just to make it easier to find infrastructure contractors and for anybody that's interested to come and work in this sector.
That's great. Thank you so much, Patrick. I learned so much from that. Thank you. And we're going to pass this first question for our partners over to our final partner panelist, Michael.
Hi, how's it going? So my name is Michael Foster. I'm a licensed 310S automotive service mechanic. And I went to school at Milton District High School a while ago, but I went to school there at Milton District High School. And I went through the co-op program. I went through the SHISM program. I went through OYAP. So it helps me a lot with a lot of these kids coming in who are doing the co-ops and everything like that. A lot of the kids who are serious about it and who are looking to actually go further in the automotive trade. There's some people that come in and they just, they're trying to get a credit, but there's a lot of people that come in who are looking to actually work in this trade. So I'm able to help out a lot because I've went through everything, same things that they're going through. And the program like OYAP, it helped me. I was able to start my apprenticeship in school, and it helped me because when we go to do our college courses in school, there's a certain period of time that needs to elapse before you can actually start your training in school. Usually it's about a year after you sign on for your apprenticeship is when you can start your first training course. And because of that, I was able to get ahead of everyone else by about half a year. I was able to start my first year. So programs like OYAP, they're great. And I suggest it to everyone that comes in. And doing the co-ops and the double credit SHISM courses and everything like that at school as well helped out a lot. At Milton District, we had a really good, probably still do, program there with Mr. Bujold and everyone that was there. You get to learn a lot in class. And so when those kids come in, we have 2 kids right now from Milton District. When they come in, they're already able to be put up to a lot more of a task than some other people. But we have them do everything that you would do within reason as a mechanic. So everyone starts out and they're doing grunt work and sweeping the floor, and you know what I mean? Everyone gets to learn, the lows and how slow it can be in the process of getting started. But we like to show all the co-op kids that come in. First, we start off with kind of the basic skills that they're going to need. If they don't continue in the automotive trade, at least you know how to change a tire and change the oil in your car. And you can even tackle the brakes and stuff like that. But we try to get them involved in every way, even the front of house, invoicing and how to talk to customers and whatnot. So we try to mix in kind of a load of everything for what they're actually going to be seeing in their regular working. So yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much, Michael. And we absolutely love that you are an HDSB grad as well.
Mhm.
So that's a very cool connection.
Mhm.
Thank you.
No worries.
Okay, back to our students. Our next question is, what have been the greatest benefits that you've reaped from your skilled trades journey? Have you encountered any challenges as well? And if so, how have you overcome them? And this time we'll start with Ray. Sorry about that, Ray.
Oh, it's okay. Okay. So the greatest benefits were definitely like all the transferable skills is I would learn something like I've learned things 2 years ago that I'm using like last week. And it's just great to have everything before you actually get to where you're trying to be. There have been a lot of challenges, like again, like a lot of early hours, like even though I'm baking, it's a lot of stuff on your like my physical self, like there's a lot of lifting heavy things, like again being on my feet for hours, and like doing things in a way. I'm very particular, and I also don't really like collaboration, but unfortunately in my program you have to work with someone, because it's just the amount of people and everything. So it's trying to overcome them is how do I explain this? Making a list of what needs to be done and trying to divide it evenly amongst the partner that you have, and also finding someone that has the same skill set. Like in my class, I am, not to brag or anything, but I do have a lot more experience than other people in my program because I have had the co-op experience, and being somewhat in the industry before just hopping into this blind. So I'm so off topic.
No, this is great. I love that you're sharing this. This is great insight for everyone watching. So thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to say on this question?
It just, there's just a lot of benefits with doing things before you actually get into where you want to go. Like start it before you even know that you want to start it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Test driving it before you've made that major commitment, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much, Ray. I'm going to pass it next over to Rebecca.
All right. So I would say some of my greatest benefits from like the skill trades, as Ray mentioned, would be those transferable skills. Like having that opportunity to take auto mechanics courses prior to even being in co-op, I think honestly helped me a lot, knowing what the tools are, how to function them, the environment itself, and also kind of the certain lingo that you have one-on-one with that person if you're stuck or if you just want to chit chat. I would say those are some of the greatest benefits. Also for me, especially with, like I mentioned earlier, doing co-op at a local dealership here, it granted me employment actually because the managers did recognize me and I did put it on my resume. And for that, it opened up employment, which is fantastic. And I am beyond grateful for that. And to contrast with the challenges that I've encountered, I'm not a big person. I'm not tall nor strong. And in the shop, there are a lot of moments where I feel kind of looked down upon just because of my size and I feel very doubted. But yet I try and make sure that I know kind of like not a shortcut, but a way around to ensure that what it is I've been tasked to do, I know I can do it without constantly having to lean on somebody or constantly have to ask for help. So, I mean, yes, it's a reminder that I'm short, but like at the same token, it's great. But yeah.
Absolutely. Well said. Never underestimate based on size. That's for sure. Thanks, Rebecca. And Maddox, over to you for the final response for this question.
Okay. I got to say, two of the greatest benefits so far have been the connections I've made with other people and some of the personal satisfaction, as self-centered as that sounds. Through high school and doing all the manufacturing classes, robotics, the SHISM, skills, and the Waterloo EV Challenge, the satisfaction you get when you can make a part or fix something or make something and it functions and wins. Like robotics, we went to Texas last year, and the year before that, we dominated in our division. And the year before that, we were also qualified to go to Worlds. So just some of the personal satisfaction you get from knowing that you can do this, that it's transferable, and just it builds confidence. And the connections that you get through like co-op and even robotics and everything. Some of my robotics mentors worked at some of these companies. So that's how I was able to get my co-op. I was able to go to one of my mentors. He gave me the email for the lead guy, and I got in contact with him, and then I got my co-op. And yeah, even through robotics and everything, I think that's how I met Mr. Hines, actually. I was at robotics, and then he was kind of just there. So I said hi. And ever since then, he's kind of popped up around the school. I've always said hi, given a little interaction, and even now I'm still being contacted.
There you go. It's the power of networking, right? Absolutely. Thank you so much, Maddox. Okay, and over to our partners. If you can tell us in, let's say, 2 minutes or less, from your perspective, what does a successful competitive applicant look like for entry into the skilled trades? And this time we'll start with you, Patrick.
Yeah, thank you. In the infrastructure trades, in the voluntary trades, work ethic gets noticed. Maybe being handy with tools helps, but an effort to learn and to work hard is what you need. Being curious, asking questions. Most tradespeople love to talk about their trades and impart the knowledge to somebody new that's learning and that's interested. You need to learn basic math. Your grade 10 math, that's a need. That's a need in the infrastructure trades. That's a need in any of the construction trades. And if you can do paperwork, that will give you a leg up to promotions in this industry. But these are jobs in the infrastructure trades that don't require a lot up front. There are a lot of opportunities for growth and for success, and you learn on the job. Again, they pay really, really well, and they serve a very necessary purpose. It's a societal need. And we often hear that, everyone nowadays, they don't want just a paycheck, they want a purpose. So it's fulfilling work. You just have to be open-minded, be willing to try things that are new, have a good work ethic. And, there are lots of examples of people moving from shovels to suits in this industry. I am one of those people. There are opportunities abound, and you just need to be here and be curious and work hard.
Thank you so much, Patrick. And Michael, I'll pass it over to you.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, a couple of things that we look for. A lot in people that are actually interested in the trade is we're looking for people that are actually interested in working. They show a compassion, or they show that they actually want to pay attention. There's a lot of people that they don't pay attention to the work that's going on, but every little thing that we do, that you watch someone do who's been in the trade for a very long time, is important, because you could be picking up on something that it took them 10 years to figure out. You know what I mean? There's certain things like that, tricks of the trade, that you can pay attention to, and if you're not paying attention, it's very easy to kind of miss. And then as well, people who don't want to overcome adversity, or they're just kind of, they throw up their hands and walk away when something's not going their way. Like Rebecca was saying, for some people, especially being a mechanic, there's lots of heavy things that if you don't lift right, you're going to throw out your back. There's lots of tight things. Like for me, I'm 6'4", I'm pretty tall. It's hard for me to get under the steering wheel of a car. You know what I mean? It's hard for certain things to happen. So there's people who kind of just throw their hands up and they quit. And then there's people who go, well, what if I take the seat out? Then maybe I can fit under that thing. Or what if so there's people whose minds work in different ways, where they can just kind of find the problem, and instead of quitting, they can figure out how to make it work for them. So that's a lot of what we look for, is people who think outside the box. They have a good problem solving mentality. Yeah. And then there's people who take pride in their work. Like there's a lot, like you hear a lot about, mechanics who are sloppy, or who, they scam their customers, or all this other stuff. It's not really the type of people that we want to employ. Right. So we look for people that take pride in their work. Something that there's a saying, you do something one way is how you do how you do something one way is how you do everything. So if you cut corners on one job because you don't care, then you're going to cut corners on every job because you don't care. So we look for people who are interested in the trade and they're interested in doing the work the right way. Because if they don't do the work the right way for one job, they're never going to do the work the right way. And then just team players, people who come and they show up for the company, not exactly because master mechanic is this whatever, right? But people who, they don't call out sick because they feel like going out and partying, right? When there's 10 other people in the shop that need a hand or whatever, right? So we look for team players, people who are going to be putting everybody that they work with in front of their own needs, right? So that's a lot of what we look for in our co-op students and in our employees.
That's great. Thank you very much, Michael. And I will pass it over to Rebecca and Dev for the final response to this question.
Perfect. Thank you, Lisa. I'll go first. Love what the other employers and Journey people had to say just now. And I'll just add to say passion. I think one of the big things here is the passion for the trades. And I think one of the themes is to make sure that, you do your research. We're hearing that, it's not guaranteed to get into an apprenticeship. And if you're in a compulsory trade, you have to. And that's the thing. If you want to set yourself apart or stand out, is know the pathway, know what the apprenticeship is. If it's 4 years, how many levels of training, what does that pathway look like? Know about the Red Seal. What does that mean? If you could showcase that you are passionate about the trades, you've done your homework, you've done your research, that you're on the soft skill side, that you're willing to show up on time early with a good work ethic and you're trainable. I mean, I think a lot of employers want to work with those types of people. So a successful career in the skilled trades is not just about your hands-on skills, as we're hearing, it's also about the soft skills and your ability to communicate and be collaborative. Turn it over to Rebecca if she has anything else to add on that.
Yeah, thanks, Dev. Between you and Michael and Patrick, I think you've covered pretty much everything, but maybe there's just a couple more things. You touched on it, reliability, absolutely key. Show up on time, be ready to work, and ask for more work. The other is stay off your phone. We hear that from employers all the time, and we ask for that in the classrooms. Math, Patrick, you mentioned math, definitely. The one thing, so the level of math that's required, like stick with your math. And if you do end up in a college program, reach out for help at Sheridan. All of our skilled trade students get embedded math tutoring throughout the process because we understand that it can be challenging for folks. And the two other things, learn how to read a tape measure, imperial and metric. It's a great skill. It doesn't take a lot to do, but you're going to use it every day. And the last thing I think is always think and work with safety as the top priority. I'd say those are the key attributes that folks could see for a successful career.
Thank you so much. Excellent. And our last question for our students, I'm going to ask you to give this to me in a minute or less, is what advice would you give to a student who's considering pursuing a skilled trades pathway in the future? So we will start with Ray.
The number one thing you can do is be passionate about what you do, because if you hate it, you're going to hate it. Like, it's not worth going into something that you don't want to do every day of your life. If it's like, and also be prepared for the hours, the work, the everything. Know what you're getting into and love that you're getting into it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And Maddox, over to you.
I'd say just whenever possible, seize every opportunity you possibly can. Whenever anything comes up, whenever you get an email, or even actively reach out and try to get any opportunities possible, because they can always lead to other connections and anything down the road. And also be passionate about what you do. Make sure you like it before you do it, and always have a willingness to learn and accept more. And don't always think that you know everything, because there's definitely people that know more than you.
I love that. Thank you, Maddox. And Rebecca, you'll have the final word for our students.
My biggest piece of advice to a student would definitely be do your research early on. Like if you're in grade 9 or 10, talk to your co-op teachers, listen to these seminars, for example, do your research and ensure that one of the programs is what you want to do. If that for example, if SHISM or OEAP is calling to you, ensure and ask questions to make sure that you're best setting yourself up for success down the road. And obviously, like Rhea mentioned, make sure it's something that you want to do and that you're very, very passionate about, because you're going to hate it early on. So just do your research, ask questions, and honestly, don't be afraid.
So well said. Thank you very much. And same thing over to our partners. Again, I'll ask you to summarize in a minute or less. What advice would you give to families, caregivers who are considering how they can support their skilled trades or apprenticeship bound students? And this time we'll start with you, Michael.
Awesome. So the first thing I would say was it would be take the high school course, because most of the general trades will have a related high school course. It depends on the high school, but like there's auto shop, woodworking. There's a lot of schools have like hairstyling courses and stuff like that. So if you're unsure or you don't know, take the high school course first. Like that's how I got addicted to it, right? I took the getting there course in grade 9 where you do everything, and then I think I have 8 or 10 auto credits. They're all of high school, so I was very interested in it, and that's how I kind of knew that. And there's lots of good resources, like Auto Shop is a great resource, and you can do your co-op, you can do your SHISM. That's the first thing, and you can, if you don't want to let your 15 or 16 or 17-year-old kid work on your car out in the driveway alone, they can always take it into the auto shop, and then they have someone supervising them who actually knows what they're doing, and they're in the trade, and that's a good way for them to learn. When I was younger, I bought my first car when I was 14 years old for money I saved up from a summer job. And it was a piece of junk, $800 car, but I got to learn how to fix everything on it in the driveway. And I was very gracious of my mom to let me do that because it was a 2-car driveway and there wasn't much space left. Yeah, and so there's lots of things that you can do to kind of advance that. There's lots of you could join car clubs. Some high schools have car clubs, and there's people you can talk to that will give you excitement and interest into different aspects of the whole space. Yeah, there's lots of things like that for sure.
Super helpful. That's so great. Thank you, Michael.
No worries.
So our next response, I'm going to pass it over to our Sheridan team, and thinking about what's that advice that you would pass over to families who want to support.
That's great. Thanks. Great question, Lisa. I think it's just following the passion again and being patient. Some of the research out there states doesn't matter if it's after high school, after a college program. Sometimes the wait's between 6 to 7 months to get into that apprenticeship. Why these OEAP programs are so beneficial, but even then, it's the biggest challenge is to get in and continue that apprenticeship. So be patient and network. Like networking is key. It's something we always tell our graduates of our programs or our high school students that once they leave out of their dual credit or OEAP program, is that we all hear it. The postings that are out there are probably 10% of the actual job opportunities out there. It's probably even less when you're looking at skilled trades. If you just think about it, skilled trade employers are so busy in the day-to-day with everything that they're doing, they may not have the opportunity or bandwidth or the opportunity to post positions like that. So going out and network and just being tactful in the way you network as well. Some of the tips that we tell our students are I see a QR code here, is like have a QR code on a card. Maybe have a portfolio of work that you've done. We just heard from the previous speaker about self projects that they worked on. So having an opportunity to highlight that and showcasing your passion to getting into the trade, like I said, is a key thing. And when you go out and you're talking to potential employers, you don't have to come out and ask for that job right away or that apprenticeship opportunity. Just treat it as an informational interview. Find out more information about where they went to school, what did that, if it was compulsory trade or if they did an apprenticeship in a voluntary trade, what did that look like? Get some information that way, and then share that, you can always leave it off. Like if there's, we understand in certain trades, there's peak season, specifically in construction, things like that. See when they might be looking to hire, if they're not hiring right away, leaving a little keepsake if it's a business card with your name, a QR code back to a portfolio, things like that that they could have, and trying to have a follow-up number of time that you can follow up with them. Is, like I said, networking is key, and just being open to where you're meeting folks and engaging with them. I mean, even if you see someone at Tim Hortons and you see a truck and they're not looking like they're in a business call, like you said, you could approach very respectfully and just have these types of conversations. So just thinking outside the box, understanding that, if you're just sitting at home and applying to online, that there's a lot of people doing the same thing. And most of the time in skilled trades, you really have to go out there and network, show up in person, have that type of conversation because it's about the fit for the most part. Rebecca?
Thank you, Dev. What I would add to that, it's been mentioned a couple of times, but just to reinforce, tonight you guys have started, or maybe this is part of your research journey. Research, understand, help your students understand where they might want to end up one day. Understand the differences between the industrial trades, the construction, the service, the motive power. That helps you break it down. But then drilling down into those, there are a lot of resources that are available, as we've talked about, to make these journeys and the research part of it fun, inspiring, and most importantly, to get you to understand where you might want to be one day. So just as a recap, come to Discover Trades Tuesdays at Sheridan. We've got the Halton Hills Public Library on March 12th. All the colleges have open houses happening this March. Ours is on March 28th at our Davis campus. So check out the resources. There's a lot of folks like all of us here that are around to help inspire and help you find your way into these amazing, lucrative, and challenging careers.
Thank you, Rebecca. And over to you, Patrick, for the last word.
Yeah, thanks. Look, it's important for people to understand that this is not a career of second choice. It's not a fallback career. These are jobs that will never go out of style. AI will never take over these jobs. In construction, you get to build these great big things that last likely your whole lifetime. You get to establish the foundation for everything that grows around us. Nothing gets built without construction workers. There is a tremendous sense of pride in doing this work because years later you see the things that you helped to build. And there are lots of opportunities in these trades. If you start on a shovel, your career will not end on a shovel unless you want to. Construction is the largest employment field in our country, and there are thousands of jobs for people of all different stripes in the field, in the office, doing promotion and government work like I do. There is room for everyone, and it is just something you got to try. Do not be afraid.
Fantastic. Thank you. What a great way to end off our panel discussion. We really appreciate everyone's insights. Wanted to just share a couple of resources. So for our viewers, you can certainly use your phone to scan that QR code. We've compiled a variety of different skilled trades resources that are accessible for students and families and educators. Feel free to grab that link so that you can access those resources. We've also consolidated a number of apprenticeship quick facts that we hope will be helpful to you as you consider apprenticeship as a potential pathway. So give you a second to grab those. And what are the next steps? That's a common question. So we would really suggest that our viewers who are interested check out Skilled Trades Ontario, a great resource understanding skilled trade pathways and opportunities within Ontario. The OYAP page on hdsb.ca is another great resource that will help provide insight into what the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program looks like in the board. HaltonPathways.ca, you've heard folks tonight talk about SHSM, OYAP, and dual credit. Again, great stepping stone programs for students who may be going into the skilled trades. You'll find out about all those programs, the locations, the sectors, everything that's available to our students in the HDSB. And of course, having those conversations is critical. We really encourage you to talk to your co-op teacher, for students that are watching, your guidance counselor, and your technological education teachers have lived this pathway. So they are great resources to chat with about how they got to where they are, the programs that they offer, the courses that you're able to take to really experiment and see which of these trades may be the right fit for you. That would be our advice. I recognize that we're a little bit over time. I'm just going to take a few questions if our panelists can hang on with us. Again, the link and the QR code to the question form. The first question, and I'll just pitch it out to our panel and anyone can unmute and respond to it. A very popular question with families often is around pay. And unfortunately, there seems to be this stigma and this perception at times that going into the trades does not lead to a great income that can support you through your life. I know I've already heard some things that definitely go against that. And Patrick, I see that you're ready to respond.
It's such a misnomer. And I worked in construction. I did my undergraduate degree. I went to work in construction. I went back to my master's degree. I worked in government and I worked in corporate Canada. And it took me almost 10 years out of school working in government and other jobs in order to make as much money as I made when I was working in construction. The wage rates in the Greater Toronto area are substantial, and they're substantial because there are a lot of vacancies and it's hard to attract people in. So the wages continue to increase. It is a ticket to the middle class to come and work in these trades. And again, we're paying people 1 year out of high school anywhere between $80,000 and $100,000. It is a substantial amount of money, and you can make very, very good careers. That's your starting point. There are opportunities to make a lot more than that. And so like it is a misnomer that construction does not pay well.
Thank you. Anyone else? Feel free to jump in.
Thank you, Lisa. I'll add, Patrick, you're bang on. The trade itself, the trades are typically higher paying than you're going to find in retail, regular business programs, management, and it's going to take you a heck of a long time to get even close to what you can make out of the trades. While you're in the trades, you're typically making really good money. Be aware, the apprenticeship wage is definitely lower, but every level of apprenticeship that you get higher and higher, you will demand a higher income. And would also say for the compulsory trades and a lot of the voluntary trades, compulsory, you have to be licensed to do that. Then even the voluntary trades, pursue your licensing. Because if you pursue your licensing, you can actually get Red Seal status for the trades that have Red Seal designation, meaning you can take your trade across Canada. And then consider the pathos even beyond the tools. These jobs are so incredible. They can lead to entrepreneurship. You can own your own business. They can even lead to things like teaching in a college, which is extremely lucrative from a full-time perspective. So be prepared. You're going to start at a certain level. Depends on which trade, but you have such an interesting pathway. There's even pathways into engineering beyond trades. And sometimes the best engineers are the ones that started off on the tools.
Thank you. Perfect. Michael or Dev, feel free to jump in if you wanted to share.
So I was going to say there's a lot of different pay structures too as well in the trades. It's not always just hourly. It's not always just hourly. It's not always just salary. There's especially being a mechanic. So there's a couple different ways you can get paid. You can get paid just flat rate, or you can get paid per job. So you can get a flat rate pay, or you can get paid hourly. So you can get, if you're flat rate, then you get every single job that comes in. You're taking it and you just work. You work a regular flat rate wage, which is could be anywhere. So when I was an apprentice, in the first year of apprentice, I was making $20 an hour. That was back when the minimum wage was whatever the minimum wage was. And then every year you go up, you're making more, 24. And then my third year as an apprentice, I was making around $30 an hour. And then my first year licensed, the way it works at the company I'm at now, I get a commission on top of the labor. So I was making, my first year license, I was making around $40 an hour, which was really good for someone who was 21 years old, right? And then if you work at a dealership, you could be working where you get a job, they give you a job and it says it takes this many hours, right? It says it pays you for 8 hours. Now you can take that job, and if you complete it in 6, you get paid for the 8 hours. You get paid whatever they're going to pay you for 8 hours, and you just did that job in 6 hours. So depending on how hungry you are for making a good living, you can be making a lot of money if you get a lot of good jobs at the dealership. But the downside that comes with that is that you get jobs like warranty jobs, where the job could take you 10 hours, but it only pays 5 hours. But we have a lot of slow periods, especially in the winter, where it kind of sucks if you're flat rate. Those are the jobs you're getting. Those are the jobs you have to take. Otherwise, you're getting paid nothing. So, but there are pay structures where you can make a lot of money if you're really good at what you do.
Great. Thank you so much for explaining that, Michael. That's really helpful. And
Well,
Deb,
quickly-
did you want to
yeah,
have a final
quickly
word
want to
on this
add in there,
question?
it's great to see the cross section of trade. So with Patrick being construction, Michael in automotive, myself as a toolmaker in industrial, and picking up where Michael was leaving off on different types of pay structures in the industrial sector, manufacturing. I worked in automotive. The ability to work overtime was a huge thing that I took advantage of. And we also got paid weekly, which was great. I would make a lot on the weekends and evenings with our OT, almost the same amount I would do in my regular hours. So it was just an outstanding way to just make some extra money with the overtime payments in manufacturing. But I would always reflect back on my friends, coming out of high school, like I said, getting into the trades, and my friends were coming out of university at 23, 24. I was making around 100,000. They were in 100,000 debt, right? So it's a big difference when you're looking at it that way in the pathways. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that, Patrick and I have a very similar background, and it's the same thing for me when I transitioned out of from the factory floor into more of a office environment. It did take me 10 years in education to get back to where I was at a 24-year-old at that point in the trade. So very, very high learning, high earning opportunities. And one thing we always say is that, especially in the trades, doesn't matter what sector you're in, what trade you're in, being a lifelong learner is going to be, it's constant. Trades have technology that advances in certain sectors. You're dealing with building codes and regulations and things like that you have to keep up with. It's just a great way to learn and earn at the same time, and just being challenged on a day-to-day. I'll leave it there.
So well said. Thank you, everyone, for responding to that question. Again, I'm going to just squeeze in one more. I know we've run over here, so thanks so much for hanging on. There's a couple of questions along a similar theme, so I'm going to kind of mold them together. But essentially, sometimes a concern that a student might pick a trade and then realize that, in fact, another trade is a better fit, or a worry that by picking a program in a particular area, you're going to miss out on being exposed to a different trade area. And I certainly, from what I've heard tonight, I know there's lots of overlap, transferability, ability to move between trades in terms of skill sets. But again, if someone wants to speak to that, I'd love to hear your response.
Yeah, I can start that off. It is one of the advantages. There are advantages in the compulsory trades. In the voluntary trades, there is a little bit more movement in between the trades, or availability to do that, to jump from thing to thing to thing. However, I would suggest there are also lots of opportunities, as I said, to move up. And especially with, as Jeff noted early on, and he's, I think those numbers are pretty correct. The average age of people working in the construction trades is in their mid-50s. And there are a lot of people retiring, and that opens up a lot of upward mobility. So there's an opportunity to come and you learn a little bit in the field, and then you can work your way up into supervisory positions, into health and safety positions, into estimating, into project design, into a whole bunch of different opportunities. So like, it's not, when you start a job, you're not doing the same job for your whole career. There's definitely a lot of variability and a lot of movement, just like there is in if you work in a big glass office tower, there's upward mobility. There's a lot of upward mobility in the trades as well.
Thank you. Okay, great. Well, on that note, I want to thank everyone so much for being a part of this tonight, not only to our viewers, but also to our amazing student and partner panelists. It was so insightful to have your voice and have you share your experience. Thank you very much. I want to thank my colleague Jeff Hines for providing again all of that foundational understanding of skilled trades and technologies as a pathway for students. I wanted to, wrap up by saying these programs happen when students take those steps and try something new. We are one of the probably most progressive boards in terms of the breadth and variety and number of programs that we offer across our schools. But those programs can only run when we have students signing up for them. So that's why we do these sessions. That's why we work so hard to ensure that students and families are aware of the opportunities. And I really hope that tonight has helped to provide you with the information you need to know if taking that next step is the right fit for you. So thanks again to all of our viewers, again, our panelists. Our next and final live stream session of the 25-26 school year will be April 8th, a focus on gap year, and we hope you join us then as well. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great night.
Have a great night, folks. Thank you.